Hello. Hello there. Welcome for some Mad Games Tycoon 2 once again. This is episode 10 right here, and as you can see, this one is going to be a little bit different. This is a time lapse. It is just a time lapse of the last stream that I've made on the game, and I am just going to talk over it for the next 15 minutes. Now, this is this way, okay, because the last stream was 4.5 hours, and basically what happened was that I wanted to go back and make everything again, because I didn't feel comfortable with the game that I had before. And so, here we are with a different game, which feels a whole lot better, actually, because this one is going to get in 1990 in a much better situation. And already the early game went a whole lot better. I actually made a couple of games myself that worked more than well. You will see my first ever game that I make myself, which is here, Pinball Magic, is a 71%, which means that on my first game, I actually unlocked sequels, which made things a whole lot smoother later on for actually making my games. Even if this game didn't sell well after a couple of weeks, because more consoles were released that were actually more popular, and as you can see, the curve went down incredibly quickly. And that was pretty funny as well, just the way it just died immediately afterwards. But anyway, I've made a few games early on, as you can see, and it worked out in my favor, because that second game restoration made bank. It really did, and it worked very well for us. But over that, we are still going to go all the way through all the years here from 1976 all the way to 1991 to even 1992. But there will be a few resets that will along the way get me back to 1991, I think. I think the last save is 1991 month 5, but I'm not sure again. But anyway, you can see Restoration 2 as a sequel made bank extremely quickly. I'm on 88,000 up after just a couple of weeks, and so I felt extremely confident to get quality assurance in 1978 before B+ games were even a thing. And I also remodeled everything a little bit better, in my opinion, and I didn't go for 6 rooms. I went for only 5 rooms in this first room: toilet, lounge, development, research, and quality assurance. Now, the quality assurance will be big enough. The quality assurance will be an 8 size, which is really good. 8 size for a quality assurance is very, very good. Now, we are before B+ games, so right now still, it takes a while for us to build back up our money, especially with just no real game still in play, but we got our first B+, and immediately the money started rolling, and so we could make quality assurance into an 8 size, which is great for the little gameplay boost on there. However, of course, what this means is that I sacrificed a few points in graphics. Now, those points will come back to bite me in the ass a little bit into A games, but honestly, the fact that the early game went so much better actually went in my favor, because I was able to make a whole lot more games work. Racing games, action games, adventure games, all of those have stars. Action game will be on 5 stars, actually. Racing will be on over 3. I think it's 3 or 4 at the end. But basically everything is in a much better situation now than it was in the other save. And that's why I am actually just, I did this because it was much better for me in this situation. I did try to make another game, as you can see. Don't look at the name. It's fine. I love Dun Dun Dun. But yeah, this game didn't work as well, because at that point now market share is shared between too many consoles, and it doesn't give you as much. So it's a bit unfortunate, especially for pretty bad games, because at that point my games are not going over 60. Yeah, there you go. So right now what we have to do is, of course, wait until we have the second building. So we're just going to go through the game right now, waiting for more B+. We can't really go for Bs, except if they're on like things like, racing, action, or all those bad stuff that I kind of want to get better at before we reach A games or higher. And as you can see, that was an action. There was an action game right there in the middle that I actually made in B+. I couldn't have done that probably last time, but here we can, even though the stats aren't that good. But for a B+, it's fine if you have stars. It really is. So, again, we're just stuck on one building for a little bit again. And at some point, very soon, there will be a real estate crash, which is going to give us 50% on the price for a building. Now, this is normally pretty much mandatory. If you want to go further in the game, it's mandatory. And so getting it in this position right now means that it was great for us. Of course, this wasn't us at A games yet, so we were still on B+ only. This was us making a simulation game here and making it work. I think we got a star on that as well. And I think, I'm not sure, but are we having an A? That wasn't an A, that was still a B+. I'm just trying to look at the time-lapse at the same time as I'm, doing this right now, but yeah. Money was still doing good at this point. We were at 500,000, so we were doing very good with before A games. We were doing very good. 500,000 in this position, like 750,000. Where is the issue here? Everything went very, very smooth before 1985. 1985 is when we have our first reset, if I remember correctly. So, you know that things aren't going to get as good, But it's still very interesting to go back on all of this and just, see that things went very well, actually, for us. Even in this early game is pretty much perfect. Like, you can't ask for much better early game. And I think, was that an A? It is an A, I think. No, that wasn't an A. Not yet. But we are going to get one probably very soon. If I actually started saving, that's an A. Right here. We're on minus 600,000. That is an A. And I think that's the one that we're missing by 1%. So we have a better A, which we are going to take. Even if it's not that great, we're still going to try it. And now there's actually a better one with strategy game in there. So we are now at above 1 million, which means that we could be already in a good enough situation to make a to make the second building probably. But we actually took another reset here. That's 3 already, actually. Maybe we have reset many more times than I thought. But just take your A games, try and make them work, and since now I got the real estate crash, I was able to buy one building. I was looking to get a second one. We were 2 weeks off from being able to unlock the second one. But even if we didn't do that, we actually unlocked the second building, and we took both rooms to fill in. And that was already good enough, really. So that saved us a bunch of time as well. And so now we are in a much better way to do any game that is asked of us in A. When you have a third room, when you have the third room for graphics, at that point you are in a much better situation. And there you go, 1.4 million is what we were here before doing the sound studio, which is of course one of the biggest rooms. It costs a lot of money, very high amount of money. We are working on another A game right now. It should be doable, and we should get it. I don't even remember all of this stuff, I'm going to be honest. But A games at this point should be, I'm not going to say easy, but doable. And that is our first double A, I think. And I didn't save, but I think, okay, we did fuck up, apparently. Oh, is that the one where I had to reset just to see if, by putting all the features down and then giving it the extra works, would it have been enough to actually boost it forward to give us enough money? I think that's what it was, and it actually worked out. And now we, as you can see, we are millions in the lead, and we are able to take the third building. Now, at that point, I actually wanted to get back into the game itself, just do like a 5-minute time lapse, and then get into the last hour and a half. But it's basically repeating what I had done last time. And again, if you want the full version of this, you can just go over to my Twitch channel and you would find the full version. There you go. The good thing is, since we have a third building, we are in a great position because we already also can have double quality assurance, a training room as well, And it's another AA right now that we are waiting for, by the way. And since we have all rooms, these shouldn't be that much of an issue. Even if I have struggled a little with those games, let's be honest. At that point, it's still a struggle. And I decided to not to do games and just try and get better until I get a much better AA that I can actually do easily. It happened pretty quickly. And we were able to make a game pretty quickly, and a second one right after. And if I remember, this is a massive streak of games that I am going to end up making, because at the same time here, we're actually going to run into a drought of games coming up in a few years. So us having that extra little bit of money right now to work with is great. And even if we actually I think the drought was earlier, maybe. It may have been in A games that the drought happened, because I think I remembered something like that happening earlier in the game. But you see, I bought a fourth building, which is different here, okay? I changed the layout. I moved my research team elsewhere. I moved them in the fourth building. I made a marketing room, which is going to come into play pretty quickly, actually, for my best game, which is an 88%. And we are going to talk about the special marketing next time for sure, okay? But yeah, moving the research so that it's bigger, making it a much bigger development team as well, making a second training room for the bigger sized people, and basically just making it so that everything works out much better in my favor. And honestly, it is going to work out. You're going to see right now, yes, we are working on AAA, unlocking AAA, which is going to be done very quickly. And then after that, what we're really looking for as well is just, can we get more contracted games in AAA? Can we get some in AAA, you know, that are doable? The main thing also is to look at technology level. If you're not comfortable with doing a level 1 at that point, it's normal. So maybe in 1990, start looking more towards level 2 at least. And there you go. This is now the time where I'm going to struggle with making AAs more. And then I'm going to struggle for AAAs. I'm going to really struggle to look for AAAs. And here's the order stagnation, actually. So it happened on AA, where I'm going to just do like three AAs in a row, which is going to build my money up tremendously. But at the same time, it's not going to last me long enough before we actually reach a good AAA. I would have the money to do a AAA at that point. I would. But it wouldn't leave me in a great position if it's not actually a good game, you know? So, basically what I need is something that is level 3, but easy. What I mean by level 3, but easy, as you can see here, we have a skill game on a level 1, which isn't good enough. But we have an action game, I think it was, on a level 3. Was that good enough? You don't know. But you have to try both. Actually, it was on sports game, yeah. But you have to try both and see what works. And if it doesn't work out, well, it doesn't work out. You can't do much about that, unfortunately. And that's why here you can see that I'm actually going for different stuff here. I think that is an A game, actually, that I'm doing here. Just to try and get a few stars on other stuff as well. I was also checking for the 5th building, just seeing what can be the amount on that. And it's 12 million, I think, if I remember, or 14. And here is my best game of all time with an 88% right here. One Piece Serra Village is going out with 3 million spent. But honestly, it could have been a lot worse. And it's still going to make bank. It's going to make really good bank. For what it is, it's going to make good bank. And it's also going to give us a good amount of fans as well, which is good. Of course, don't do this. If you want to keep going for mostly, you know, being alive with your... with contracts, don't do what I've done here. But here we are again, trying a AAA and not making it work. We won't make any AAAs work, unfortunately. Not yet, but soon enough. Anyway, this video is going to come to an end very soon, in less than 20 seconds. So with that said, people, I am sorry for the length of this, but it was just to catch you up. If you want to watch the full thing, there is 6 hours of stream on my channel, on my Twitch channel, available right now. And with that said, take care, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for Mad Games Tycoon in a couple of days. I promise it won't be that long. Bye.